Welcome to today's episode of Rave with Paige, where we talk all things women in sports. I am your hostess with the mostest, Paige Cook, and I'm here bringing you the latest and greatest from the world of women in sports television. Let's get to it. Thinking back, for me at least, I cannot tell you the last time I saw a women's sporting event on primetime television or a major network like NBC, CBS, or ABC. I really only remember seeing women's Olympics events on primetime, but whenever the Olympics are going on, almost all events are being televised, regardless what gender or country is being shown or participating. I really think one thing is that women's sporting events are not highly regarded by viewers, and there's not a huge demand or fan base. People have the misconceived idea that women's sports are easier or less competitive, but that's the complete opposite. We need to break this stigma of women's sports being seen as easy, and by doing that, that is what is needed for them to gain the equality and doing away with the idea of sexism in the industry. Hell, I think women sometimes bust their ass more because there's more on the line for them. Great example of this is the U.S. women's national soccer team. They are freaking badasses. You have Alex Morgan, Megan Rapinoe, Carly Lloyd, Rose Lavelle, really making their voices heard regarding the gap of televised media between men and women. They are out here promoting the game and receiving more viewership than their male counterparts, yet they don't receive the same recognition in televised minutes and pay. In fact, U.S. viewership of the 2019 Women's World Cup final was 22% higher than the 2018 men's final. Growing up, I played soccer, and all my friends, both guys and girls, always talked about Abby Wambach and Heather O'Reilly as our modes for inspiration. I also played golf growing up, and whenever someone asked who I look up to or who my favorite player is, I always name a male golfer. Currently, it is Justin Thomas, sorry Sun Devil alum. People are shocked to hear that I don't know many LPGA players, and that's simply because I have never saw them playing growing up. They were never on major channels, and my parents didn't always have access to the golf channel. And even now, their tournaments are shown at odd times of the day. So what media I see from them really only comes from Twitter or Instagram. One thing that's really pushing viewership and growing the fan base is the opportunity for streaming. According to the LA Times, ESPN Plus, which is ESPN's streaming platform put out by Disney, has allowed women's sports that have never been televised on television to be shown. This includes both professional sports and those at the collegiate level. Lesser-known industries such as field hockey, volleyball, are being streamed. In fact, in 2019, for the first 9 months, ESPN Plus put out more than 7,000 hours of coverage for women's sports. This is huge for those women that have never had access for their content to be shared. Women aren't given the opportunity to showcase their talents and therefore don't get the televised time that they deserve. One article from the Washington Post stated, one 5-year study concluded that the time devoted to women's sports on local TV news and on networks like ESPN remained dismally low compared with coverage of football, baseball, and men's basketball. What is needed for news outlets to start showing women's sports and mainstreaming them and making them more popular? Some questions to leave you guys with before we wrap things up here. What is needed to get you to watch women's sports, and how long will it take until we start seeing them broadcasted more on primetime television? Just some food for thought to process and really understand how much push is needed from viewers and fan bases to get women the broadcast time they need and deserve, and for their content to be out there and to expand viewership. Thank you for following today's episode and the highlights of women in the sports television industry. Be sure to follow my Twitter at PaigeC_trifecta for more content. That is all, folks, and we'll see you next time on Rave with Paige.